Hey, what's going on, guys? It's John Garuti, eXp Realty. It is Thursday, September 29th. Hurricane Ian just came through and decimated Southwest Florida. So just before I start this video, I wanted to send my heartfelt sympathies to everybody, especially living on the coastline here in Southwest Florida. It got decimated, just crazy storm surge. The Sanibel causeway got ripped apart. I know people are still right now as I'm filming this are trying to get rescued in their houses. Crazy flooding along the Caloosahatchee River and of course all along the coastline. So again, my sympathies go out to everybody. But this video I'm going to kind of take you through what it was like surviving Hurricane Ian up here in Babcock Ranch. We're a bit more inland, so the effects weren't nearly what it was down on the shoreline here, but I'm going to take you, I vlogged through the entire storm so you can get a better feel for what it was like living up here through the storm in Babcock Ranch. So it's a little after midnight here on Wednesday, September 28th, and it's looking like Hurricane Ian is going to track very close to Babcock Ranch. I mean, as of right now, it's uncertain. The latest forecast said it's going to come right over Port Charlotte area, South Venice, so we're definitely going to be getting hurricane winds. And today, Wednesday, the 28th, it's definitely going to be, we're going to see the brunt of it. So it's going to be an interesting day. My wife and I have done everything we could to prepare. We got everything that was outside, inside. We're fortunate to have hurricane glass, but everyone around the neighborhood pretty much at this point I think has put up shutters. If they have shutters, it was highly recommended. So you know, we're doing everything else we possibly could have thought of. We have bottled up tons of water. We've put water in the bathtub so we can flush the toilets. We have we're cooking a lot of food just to get ahead of that, because I think the biggest anxiety thing for me is just losing power for an extended period, which most likely is going to happen. So if there's anything I wish I had done was put in a generator. I was looking at this generator that has a quick connect to my natural gas line, so it's one that I can kind of just wheel out in the event of an emergency, hook it up to my natural gas line, or I could even run it on propane or gasoline, and it would be enough to pretty much keep the house going, and maybe one air conditioning unit. It's a 15,000 watt. So yeah, if there's anything I wish I had done, that was it. But yeah, we're just right now the outer bands are kind of hitting us, so you can hear the wind picking up. They're definitely raining. It's been raining pretty steadily since about I want to say 8 o'clock, 8 o'clock. So right now, the way the hurricane's turning, I think we're going to get a little break here, but then come this morning and then through the day, we're going to really start seeing the winds and the rain. And so scary thing right now is we're under tornado warning, so that is kind of scary because that can come through unexpectedly at any minute. I know there were some tornadoes down in Miami, but right now just looking around, looking at the street, I mean, everything, can't really see right now, but everything, it's right now there's really no flooding on my street or anything, so I think right now we're good, but we're gonna see how this day goes as this hurricane comes through here. So it's a little after 8:30 a.m. on Wednesday morning. Right now it's just wet and windy. Give you a little shot of outside. people are actually still driving cars around, so I know we're on the outskirts of the storm right now. I just watched the news and it just made Category 4 and it's spinning offshore, so I think right now we're going to have a rather calmer morning, but this afternoon things are definitely going to pick up into night, into tomorrow morning, so I'll keep you updated. So I just wanted to key you guys in how we prepped out here out in Babcock Ranch. So here in my master bathroom, we did fill up this tub with water. We also going to fill up this little tub here in my shower. And so people are asking, why do you fill up the bathtub with water? Well, if the power goes out, which it usually does, you'll need that extra water to flush the toilet. You still want to be able to go to the bathroom, so you can still manually flush. So that's one smart thing you can do in your bathrooms to prep. So I want to take you through how we did all our prepping here. So here in the kitchen, got a lot of water ready to go, drinking water, and a lot more drinking water. And we cooked a lot of food yesterday. Well, my wife cooked a lot of food yesterday. We just actually finished some ribs. We baked a bunch of loaf of breads, made meatballs. So we picked up a lot of fresh fruit, and of course we got the pantry stocked. Lots of chips and lots of macro bars, energy bars, jerky. Just a lot of dry fruits that you don't have to refrigerate. A lot of fruit, bananas, apples, avocados. Of course, you need your white vinegar all times. So, food-wise, I think we're going to be pretty good. So it's a little after 1:15 p.m. right now. We're about an hour away before the brunt of the storm starts hitting us, and the wind has definitely started picking up here in the last, I want to say, 10 minutes. The wind's whipping, the rain is whipping, and the wind is getting more consistent here. So take you outside real quick. You can hear the wind whipping too. So kind of hard to know what the wind speed is right now, but I'm thinking it's probably 40 mile per hour, pretty consistent here. You can see how fast the clouds are moving overhead. So definitely interesting to watch. But yeah, this next hour we are going to be hunkering down as this thing rolls in here. So we're just getting prepped. We've got to-go bags for worst case scenario, but right now, luckily, no really localized flooding. I mean, it's rained all day. Just a lot of winds, so still worries of tornadoes popping up, but we'll see how this changes here in the next hour. Alright, so we're about 30 minutes before the eye wall hits. I'm upstairs. You can probably hear the wind up here much better. Downstairs I really don't hear the wind so much. I'm guessing because the house being 2 levels, but when you come upstairs you can really hear the wind howling and the wind hitting my this is the east side of my house here, so the winds are coming out of the east as the hurricane rotates. And if you look out the windows here, you can see how fast the clouds are moving. And luckily no flooding yet at all, but we are about 30 minutes away from the strongest winds, and they're saying for about 1 to 2 hours. It's hard to know, but we're going to be getting the worst of it here pretty soon. So I'll be checking back as soon as the eye wall starts hitting us. Alright, it's about 1:50. You can hear on this side of the house the wind even more, but check out the view. See the palms are really swaying there. All this foliage on the side of my house in between me and Bluebird Trail is really whipping. And if you look at the pond behind my house, you can see to the other side of the pond, because the wind's pushing it that way, it's actually starting to, the water's coming up out of the pond, not anywhere near close to my neighbors over there on Foxtail Court, but not sure if you can see that all the way, but the water is starting to push up, and man, there are like little whitecaps in this little pond here that's not even probably 3 acres large. So, but just watching that wind, our wind is moving just so fast through here. Well, first piece of damage just happened. My screen here on the second level just got ripped right out. I mean, I don't know if it was secured well enough, but this screen is still intact. So, going to be watching it here.
No, Daddy, this
Definitely starting to pick up. It's crazy now as we get closer and closer to 2:15 how fast it's picking up. See those trees across my neighbor's trees in front of her yard, those look like they're ready to come over. Alright, 2:15. Winds are definitely picking up. The winds are screeching. Oddly where I am, oddly on my lanai here, I think I'm positioned perfectly so the winds are hitting the side of my house, and I'm not really even feeling any winds here underneath my lanai. Not too much. See the winds, not really compared to out there. Man, that is strong. I don't know if you can see. Whoa. Big howls coming, so it's supposed to get like this for 2 hours. Well, it's about 3:35 now. The storm didn't really start hitting hard until like the last 20 minutes here, and now it is whipping hard. You can probably hear I'm on my lanai still, so I'm kind of protected from the wind, but there are some very strong gusts coming through here. You can see the trees, the gusts just come popping up, and wow. I think the gutters on the house across the pond there just went flying off. So there's definitely going to be some damage. I did see some lightning just before, but not much lightning at all. It is very windy though. You can see my silk screen for my pool is now flying all over the place. These are some intense gusts right now. So I think I'm going to go inside. It's about 4 o'clock now. Winds are definitely sustaining, and somebody, I'm not sure if you can see it, but somebody's trampoline went flying. So not sure whose trampoline that is, but now it is in the lake right there. So yeah, the winds are looking like they've been holding pretty steady here now. So let's see, I think we got another hour of this. We still have not yet lost power, which has been very nice. And I got the kids just hanging out downstairs. They're not even really paying attention. And again, when you come upstairs, man, you can really hear it. You can kind of hear this flap in my master bathroom, just flapping every minute. Other than that, so far, not too bad. All right, it's 5 p.m. My kids made me put my headlamp on, but you know, the wind seemed to be dying down a little bit. It did looked like the actual eye of the storm was going to come here. So I don't think it is now. It looks like it's going to miss us a little to the northwest, the actual eye. So we're going to be staying in like winds and rain, but as of right now, I think the worst is behind us. Hasn't been that bad. You know, no flooding. I'm looking at the streets. I don't see any streets flooded. Yeah, overall, I think being this far inland is definitely advantageous for many reasons. Of course, living on the beach is nice and sexy, but unfortunately the people who were living very close to water got the brunt of this storm with the storm surges and the flooding. That's been the, I think, what ultimately is going to be the worst part of this storm, but you know, we're still not out of it yet, so here's your 5 o'clock updates, and I'll probably be back here in a little while. Right, guys, it's a little after 6:20, and the winds have actually totally shifted. So all this morning to early afternoon, the winds were coming out of the east, and now the winds are coming out of the southwest, so the storm is heading northeast. So now, like, the back left corner of my house is getting the brunt of the wind. So pretty interesting to see the wind patterns, but you can see here the wind's moving and actually lightening up a bit. So as the storm has come through, there's been less rain. It's still pretty windy out, as you can see. We're still getting some good gusts. That trampoline has flipped over multiple times in the pond there, and but it looks like the brunt of the storm has passed. But it looks like at this time the brunt of the storm has passed us now. So you know, just got to deal with these winds for probably a few more hours, and then I think we're scot clear. I've been checking the Facebook groups around the community, and nobody really seems to have any significant damage. I know a few people had their, you know, their screens on their lanais busted in a few places, and I think some roof shingles have flown off. I am concerned about where some of the job sites were, because I think the builders did a shit job securing their job sites. I saw somebody was showing pieces of plywood flying through the air off a job site, and looking out my window here, there's some job sites 2 blocks over, and all I can see is like all this, I don't know if it's the tarp paper. I just see all this white paper. It's stuck to somebody's roof, and it's just like wailing in the air. But still have some pretty significant winds, and wow, these clouds are just like they're so low. Look at how low those clouds are. I mean, so anyways, we'll see how long this kind of goes for. You know, I'm expecting the winds to hopefully die down here in like the next hour or two, and then we can maybe even go outside and do a little cleanup. There's some debris all over the yard here, which, you know, is expected, but hey, I think overall for us inland, we're pretty fortunate, and we still have not lost power. That has been probably the best part of this, riding this out while watching some TV, and the air conditioning's still running. So very fortunate we chose to live further inland at Babcock Ranch. Well, it's just about 7 o'clock, and I did want to do one more blog while it's still a bit light out. It's definitely starting to darken up here, and the winds are definitely still whipping pretty hard here. I was surprised. I figured around this time right now it would slow down a little bit, but yeah, we're still getting very strong winds out here. And I see that trampoline has moved closer to my house, which I'm not too happy about. I do see some neighbors. I don't know if you can see in that backyard there, some trees are down. And yeah, the winds are whipping my house right now from the coming out of the southwest here, but Yeah, we'll see. We'll see how many more hours we have of this left to go, of these winds. If you look on the radar, it's looking like we're coming here to the near end, but there are still some outer bands that I think are going to follow up through here. So it's 9:30, and the winds have kept up pretty steadily since my last update, and I think the storm's just kind of passing through, but been light rains and just the wind's been howling. I think we're still getting tropical storm force winds and gusts over 45 miles per hour, but I think for the most part we've ridden it through. I've noticed a lot of cars out on the road lately, so people are getting up and out, but I know in Babcock we haven't had any flooding issues, but I know the general area definitely, even when you get down to Bayshore Road and the Lee County Civic Center, I know there's been a lot of flooding, so still kind of unsafe to go out right now, in my opinion. I think it's I'm just hunkering down, and we'll see how it is in the morning. Well, it's about 7:15 morning after, and just coming around the house and checking out my neighborhood. My house, luckily, nothing too bad. I did lose 2 window screens, which is nothing. This palm tree right here snapped in half, and got some other damage on my other palm. But other than that, just feeling very grateful right now, because we did not lose power once. I mean, we kind of rode this whole thing out in comfort, and I'm just tuning in now to the news this morning, and I'm just feeling terrible for all the people living on the coastlines, and the flooding. The flooding has just been catastrophic. I know there's people still right now, this moment, that are needing rescue, and I know all our brave firefighters and ambulances and police officers are out there, and the National Guard, and they're trying to get to everybody, but there's just so much damage on the coastline. They already preliminary estimating that there was $20 to $40 billion of damage done in this storm, and it is definitely the most destructive storm in the history of Southwest Florida. So can only be super grateful right now that up here in Babcock Ranch we did okay. There's just, minimal damage to here. Everything here it's no big thing. The things that need to be fixed and replaced. So very grateful to be living this far inland and underground utilities. It definitely made a world of difference. Well, it's a little after 9 a.m. Just walking around, about to go on a golf cart ride through the neighborhood and see how it is, but just been walking up and down my block a little here, and a lot of trees down, which is expected. But looking around so far, just from my neighbors, lot of pool screens busted in many places. Some neighbors did lose some shingles off the roof, some gutters. But yeah, other than that, really nothing too crazy out here. I haven't seen anything terrible like a house collapsing or a whole pool enclosure collapsing yet. But I'm just looking at the end of my block. My street signs are knocked over, so gonna go take a drive now, see how the rest of Babcock's looking. Wow, amazing how they left all those shingles on the roof like
I
that.
know. I just couldn't believe it. And then, the buildings that were down by us, the new builds, all crumbled with the shingles and have the roof broken.
I forgot. How these houses stay up? They're only made out of wood and concrete. Well, what if the storm gets actually metal?
Well, it's actually
Metal is good.
not too bad in here. All things considered. Another porta potty.
Metal is really strong in the house. But metal's light. Concrete's heavy. No, the most strongest thing in the world
Here,
is done.
see how much debris is in this lake. Up, there's a porta potty in the lake.
We got porta potty.
With the water. Yeah, they said
What's your porta potty?
water around here is unboiled.
Porta potties like there's no toilets. They're like 40.
One fell over.
Oh,
The
yeah,
walls
that wall fell over.
on this one fell over. Oh, man. Oh, yeah, the whole wall just toppled over.
And then you gotta ask yourself,
Oh, look at that. That's gonna fall. Like,
yeah,
Oh,
that
the-
one just crumbled too.
Yep. That whole wall crumbled. The lintels.
What didn't crumble, how strong is it now?
Oh, they're gonna building inspectors everywhere cut off one.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, wait,
Look at those. I know, you're like, why would one, the ones right next door to each other, some crumble and some don't?
Can we go eat a dog, Mom?
That one crumbled.
Mom, can we go eat a dog?
Like the
Yes,
wind,
honey,
right?
um,
The way that it tunnels through.
Yeah, it's like a tornado. Like one house got hit and another one saved. Like it's horrible. Hey, honey.
Wow. Look at all this damage. Stuff is in the house. It's not even. Look at that potty. Oh, you're in the.
Wow. All the insulation just tore up.
Right out.
They don't.
Their window broke up there.
Oh yeah, something like that.
Bam, right there. Dad, what a tornado lashed them. It was not a tornado.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Drywall. The ceiling drywall.
Right, that fell right down.
Or did it just get blown up in there?
All the people
Look at
had.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Look at
that's
All the people had.
the whatever metal.
the steel, the metal studs just bent.
Yeah, look at that. Look at all those doors. Why is there so much doors in there?
So some people have windows that don't need shutters.
So this is probably the most destruction I've seen here in Babcock. Some of these new construction homes that weren't fully built yet. You can see this. This wasn't, these walls were up like you can see there in the back corner, but these walls came tumbling down. So these are supposed to be $1 million lakefront homes here, so I guess I don't even know now. Might have to come and just tear this whole thing down. The slab is still intact here, but you can see the walls on this whole side were just came down and crumbled. Wow, look at that. The wind just tore this house apart. There's, I guess, the most damage I've seen is to some of the houses that were under construction. Now this one, believe it or not though, this stayed intact, the whole wall. So it's kind of interesting to see why two houses that were at the same exact stages have two different outcomes. Yeah, see, so this house right here, this is what the house previously looked like before the storm hit. Okay, see this new construction house here, just that one side wall, well, both sidewalls collapsed. This house too, this whole thing pretty much collapsed. It's crazy. The winds, you know, it's interesting to contemplate how much the winds, how heavier the winds were with like with the lake right here. I know having the houses next to each other, that definitely breaks up. When you see how like the houses are built on the streets, that definitely helps break up the wind. But yeah, I mean these houses just, luckily they're just under construction and nobody was living on them. I haven't seen any houses totally collapsed here. Here's here's another one of the Lennar new construction homes that just got pummeled. Man, looks like the neighbor back there too has a lot of their screen, looks like their entire Windows picture screen got ripped open. But yeah, look at these walls, just, they did not stand a chance. Look at the rebars just bent right there. Crazy. Well, that's it for this videos, ladies and gentlemen. So definitely mixed emotions right now. Very grateful to be spared, but feeling so sad, and just for all the people that have lost. There's so many people that have lost everything in Southwest Florida here, but you know, this is part of moving to Florida. If you do live here, you have to be ready that, you know, hurricanes are going to come through here. I mean, this storm is the last time Southwest Florida got hit was 100 years ago this bad, and this is now the worst storm in Southwest Florida history. So definitely unprecedented, and not something that's going to happen all the time. You know, I moved here just about 4 years ago, so this was my first storm. Just so happened to be a crazy storm, but you know, all things considered, I still think Southwest Florida is a great place to be living, and I'm going to continue living here through all these storms. And definitely a lot to be said about living inland here out in like Babcock Ranch and just even east of 75. I mean, the storm didn't batter us as bad as many other places, but you know, it's kind of is what it is. So I think for all those people that are thinking about moving here, you know, you definitely want to take that into consideration. Living on the beach is fun and sexy, but definitely comes with greater risks than living inland in a place like Babcock Ranch. So anyways, guys, again, please, if you can, donate some money. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of things popping up here to help the people that lost everything in Southwest Florida, and hopefully we won't have another hurricane like this here for a while. So I guess that's all I have to say for this video.